we never got to see even Derrick Rose come back from the ACL and see what would happen because he just kept getting hurt again after that. So I think it's very disingenuous to say, well, we saw 10 more years of Derrick Rose and he never got back to it. Anytime he was getting any sort of rhythm, injuries came back. He looked like in New York, he looked good. He was a good player. I remember him in the 2021
playoffs. He broke his hand.
This is 9 years removed from when he tore his ACL. In the 2021 playoffs for the Knicks, he was their best player.
I want to transition into something that Patrick Beverley said about 4 Hall of Fame point guards. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen. I'm going to play the clip, and we are going to talk about what Patrick Beverley had to say about these guys. This should be interesting. Hold on. Let me share this with you guys. Oh, oops.
Not that.
Shout out to friends of the show, Patrick Beverley, by the way. Shout out to friends of the show.
By the way.
Yeah.
All in their primes, one of them has to go.
Okay.
Allen Iverson.
Ooh.
Kyrie Irving.
Ooh.
D. Rose.
Oh.
Or Westbrook.
Oh my God. Oh my God. D. Rose is on there. That shit that he was doing in the Miami Heat series, I've never seen a player. He was dunking on a Miami Heat. Like, folks had like 5 dunks one game. And 1 dunks. So I'm going D. Rose. I gotta go Kyrie.
Uh-oh.
Damn.
Don't tell me that you're about to leave the answer off the list, dude. Don't tell me that this test has no answer.
No, I think I'm gonna leave Russ off.
You're leaving Russ off?
And I just seen the homie Russ 2 days ago. We chopped it up, man.
I'm leaving off D. Rose, bro.
You hit that pen today wrong?
No.
Yeah, I knew you hit that pen. Yeah, you okay. Hit the pen. Talking out the side of your motherfucking head, man. That's that daddy brain you got right there.
So you would have him on over Iverson?
D. Rose over AI?
Yeah, they're peaks.
Yes. We said prime, right?
Yeah.
In a prime, he was the youngest MVP. What you talking about?
What does youngest have to do with anything?
Man, if D. Rose stay healthy, come on, bro. If D. Rose stay healthy, we probably talking about probably the best point guard to ever play the game. If he stay healthy and get a little bit more help, Jimmy Butler coming into himself, like he get a little bit more help, it's trouble.
So, I mean, Kyrie's never won an MVP.
I picked Kyrie.
But everybody else has an MVP. They were all the best player in their year.
Yeah,
Kyrie never was the best.
You got to have Kyrie in there.
The Allen Iverson disrespect is crazy on this podcast, but I'll let you get away with it. Because you played with all the other guys.
Westbrook. Come on now.
All right, fair enough.
All right, fellas. Thoughts on this?
If was a fifth, that's my thoughts.
I think Pat Bever's from Chicago.
He is.
Let's start there, Mars.
Yeah, that's my first thought.
I wasn't saying as in
thought.
I think I don't know.
I'm just saying you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a knock, but let's start there.
Yep.
Let's make sure we do that, right? Let's start there. So, right then and there, he knows Derrick Rose. He grew up with Derrick Rose, so I think that has something to do with it.
Probably looked up to him.
Number 2, can we not leave out that when Derrick Rose tore up his knee in 2011, or was it 2012?
2012.
Okay, so just so you know, his career wasn't over, Chip. Like, he did play in the NBA for 10 more years after that, right? So it wasn't like he tore up his knee and we never saw Derrick Rose again. We did see that he played for Chicago for 8 years, all right? It's not like he was just completely over after that. No, he did come back from injury. He did lead that team to the playoffs a couple times, and I did watch him. That's number 1. Number 2, Russell Westbrook. I saw him in the FIBA World Championship in 2011. And just from an eye test alone, and I know that we do eye tests around here because I know how Mars is when it comes to just better basketball players. Mars, in 2011, in the summer of 2011 in the FIBA World Championships, I'm watching Derrick Rose and I'm watching Russell Westbrook, and I'm going, that dude is better than that dude. Just from, I ain't even talking about stats. I ain't talking about numbers. He's faster than him. He's bigger than him. He's stronger than him. He's better than him in transition. He looks like he could be a better scorer than him. I think he's tougher than him. That dude right there is better than that dude, strictly from an eye test. So is it fair for me to say, which I'll say right now, is I think Russell Westbrook is everything that Derrick Rose was supposed to be, but he couldn't do it because he couldn't hold up. But he did play a lot of years, though. So it's not like he didn't play. He did play a lot of years. He just couldn't hold up.
Chill. The 5 years after he won MVP in Chicago that you referenced, which I think is a little bit, we need some context here. He averaged 33 games per season for the 5 years he played after. He got injured the year after, missed half the season, missed an entire season after that. I think it's fair to say we were robbed. I think it's also fair to say he probably shouldn't have won that MVP. I think both statements could be true. He probably won it a year before he was supposed to win it, and thankfully he did win it because, quite frankly, he never had a chance to win it again. So, yeah, he played, up until 23, 24, but he was never the same player.
No, he wasn't, but he's still. But here's the thing, though. We have seen guys come back from injury. That's 100% true. I saw Ron Harper come back from injury. He tore up his knee. We've seen plenty of guys have ACLs. Jamal Murray tore up his knee. We saw what he looked like in the playoffs in 2023.
Not everyone's the same. Right? We can't just be like, well, this guy's come back from an injury, so I expect everyone to do it. Dominique Wilkins came back from an Achilles in the 90s.
I think it speaks.
We don't just expect everyone to come back from Achilles injuries. Like,
I think it speaks to a bigger thing here. It's like he was kind of relying on that athleticism too. Like, okay, for all intents and purposes, everybody should be like, taking advantage of your athletic prime, right? You can dunk, you can jump higher than everybody, run faster than everybody. Yes, rely on it. But if we're saying he's one of the all-time greats, you should be able to take away one aspect of one thing that he does athletically, and he should still be able to produce from the point guard position. It's not like he's a three,
but he did.
Like
he
was
3-4. Good. Derrick Rose was a good player when he came back.
Yes,
he was a good player.
Right,
he wasn't the top 10 player anymore. But it's not like people act like all Derrick Rose did was tear his ACL. Derrick Rose tore his ACL, came back, missed a year, came back, and then after 10 games tore his meniscus. Like, it wasn't just, Derrick Rose tore his ACL and was never the same. He never even got a chance to bounce back from the ACL before he tore his meniscus. And then I think he tore his meniscus again in like 2015. Like, Derrick Rose hasn't been just, he was just one bad injury and it was over. No, it's like, it's not to the same degree. Clay's was worse, but Clay tore his ACL. And then before we even got to see what he looked like coming back from an ACL, he tore his Achilles. Like, we didn't even get to see, maybe Derrick Rose would have came back and looked close to MVP Derrick Rose. I'm with Penn. I don't think he should have been the MVP. I don't think he was the best player in the league or none of that stuff. But maybe he could have got back to the all-NBA level. He could have got to that point, but we never even got to see him. And I think, especially for Chicagoans, I don't know what they're called, people from Chicago, especially for them, I think that's what hurts the most. It's not, Derrick Rose tore his ACL and we never got to see him. We never got to see even Derrick Rose come back from the ACL and see what would happen because he just kept getting hurt again after that. So I think it's very disingenuous to say, well, we saw 10 more years of Derrick Rose and he never got back to it. Anytime he was getting any sort of rhythm, injuries came back. He looked like in New York, he looked good. He was a good player. I remember him in the 2021 playoffs.
He broke his hand.
This is 9 years removed from when he tore his ACL. In the 2021 playoffs for the Knicks, he was their best player. With all NBA Julius Randle, no slight to Julius Randle, who played badly in the series. But Derrick Rose was the best player in a series for a playoff team in 2021. 10 years removed from his MVP. That was Derrick Rose. He was still a good player. Whenever he had 50 for the Timberwolves, he was still a good player. So let me ask
you something. So if you give, right? So we're saying because he's a point guard, right? So you're saying he's he could have been one of the greatest point guards. If you give Chris Paul the same string of injuries as one of the greatest point guards as well, is his career dropping off that much with the same string of injuries? Because like when you're a point guard, like your main value is how can you run the team?
No,
I think Chris Paul's better than Derrick Rose does.
Well, one, that, and two, he's less reliant on his athleticism.
I think Derrick Rose is still the worst player there. I just think you guys are being harsh on him for no reason. But I still think he's the worst player. I would also get rid of Derrick Rose. I just think you guys are minimizing his injuries.
I know I'm not minimizing his injury. I recognize the fact that he tore up his knee really quickly, Penn, because I know you got a point. I recognize the fact that he tore up his knee, right? And then after taking a whole year off, he ends up tearing his meniscus. And then in 15, when they went to the playoffs, I mean, he still was healthy enough to play. He played in the playoffs. He was still healthy enough to play. Played 51 games or something like that, and he played in the playoffs. And then the next year, I think he was playing with the Knicks. He ended up breaking his hand. Like, and I think he either cracked his hand or he broke his hand altogether. Like these injuries, Mars, don't get me wrong. I do think that they hamper you, but they aren't catastrophic. Like we've seen guys come back from meniscus injuries. We saw Ron Artest play with a torn meniscus. And I understand your logic that not everybody responds to injuries differently. But doesn't that go into account when you being one of the best players ever, how mentally tough you are to be able to overcome injuries? Is that not fair?
Mentally tough. What's the body just can't do it?
Yeah, chill. That's not fair.
I think that's a terrible point. Some people's bodies are just different. Like to the same point about Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins came back from a torn Achilles in the 90s. And what do we do? We praise him, rightfully so. That does not mean every torn Achilles after the fact, we should just expect them to come back. There's a reason why a torn Achilles
We
has
do
been
have
viewed as a
precedent, though,
career
Mars.
ender. That the precedent has been that's a career-ending injury. Dominic Wilkins is an outlier. Kevin Durant is an outlier. The precedent is if you tear your Achilles, you're done. That's what the precedent was for a torn ACL. Back when Derrick Rose tore his ACL, a torn ACL was seen as a career ender or career altering.
Not in 2011,
injury.
Mars. No.
Yes, it was.
Ago.
It was still a career-altering injury. A torn ACL
Career-altering
was
as
a
opposed to
career-altering
career
injury.
It's
And what did it do to Derrick Rose? It altered his career. And now
Yes,
we're
it
saying
did.
in hindsight, man, why did that really alter his career? Was he not mentally tough enough? Are we serious?
Yeah,
No,
because I mean, modern day
Klay Thompson
medicine,
in
bro. Modern day medicine, bro.
2019
You
tore
got
his
NFL players
ACL.
bouncing
We
back.
viewed that as a career-altering injury, and
Bro,
that was in
this is
2019.
modern day medicine. It's not in 60s. You got NFL players that tear their ACL in January with the medical field now. They can be playing by November, bro.
Adrian
It's not
Peterson
what it
came
used to
back.
be.
Adrian
It's
Being
really
able
not.
to
He was
come
avoided
back
all the
fast
best
doesn't
doctors
change
in the
I
world.
want to
Kobe
ask
Bryant
y'all.
came back from his torn Achilles in 6 months or 8 months. He was terrible after that.
Well,
Being
he's
able
older,
to come
so
back
that's not
quick
fair.
doesn't mean you're going to be a good player again. Derrick Rose came back. He took a year off. He then torn his meniscus. But when Derrick Rose tore his ACL,
Sure, in
the
2011.
world knew that was a career-altering injury. The world knew it.
I don't
Everyone
know
knew.
if I
was
knew
saying
that.
14
Honestly, I
years
don't know if I
after
knew
the
that,
fact,
bro. I don't
everyone's
know if
like,
I knew that,
no,
man.
actually, it wasn't that deep. No one really thought a torn ACL
I think
was
everybody
that
was
major.
sad
No,
for
we're
him.
not about to start lying.
I
No,
think
we're not
everybody
lying.
was
No,
sad
no,
for
no,
him. Like
okay.
it was
Marcus.
tough to see because he's playing at a high level.
And we're having conversations. Is Kyrie going to be the same? And he just tore his ACL in March.
Nah.
He's
But
25.
Kyrie got
Marcus.
a long
I
list
appreciate
of
that you
no,
injuries,
being
bro,
real
wasn't that
passionate about this, but
It's different. That's two
respectfully,
different instances.
you weren't there.
Also, too, though, Mars isn't lying. You got to understand.
We did
Think
not
about
think
no.
D-Rose's season was over, career was over.
Not
No,
at all.
Can you?
no.
But okay, but can you guys?
If
Can we?
It's a difference between over and altering.
Okay.
To Mars's
But
point, it's a
chill
difference
chill
between
with a
over
guy.
and altering. Okay, I can
But
give it that,
with
Ron.
the guy's game being so solely based on athleticism, Kyrie is different. Kyrie damn near can slow down and still be Kyrie. Like Kyrie's game isn't based on.
athleticism.
It's
That's
not.
because he's an
Yes, it is.
all-time great.
No,
But Kyrie's
Kyrie's
game
game
is
is
not-
based
people are
on
still
pace
questioning
and
if
skill
Kyrie's gonna
and
look the same.
shooting.
That's my
Like,
point. And
di-
he's based on all skill. And people are still
Yeah.
like, is Kyrie going to look the same when he comes back? And I
That's
understand.
but no,
He's
that's,
older.
That's
I
'cause
understand.
Kyrie is
He's
33
older.
years old. Kyrie's 33
That's fine.
years
That's
old,
fine.
and he had a
And Derrick
sling of
Rose's game
injury.
is predicated on athleticism. So we can still understand why it could be career altering for both parties. Yet you guys are acting oblivious to the fact that it was very obviously could have been career altering for Derrick
No.
Rose. And actually, it was career altering for Derrick Rose.
Right,
But now,
but
here's-
Nah, I don't.
why was it really career altering?
Mars,
Was he
I feel like
mentally
you're missing some
tough?
context here, man.
Yeah,
You're
Mars,
missing
this
some
is
context
where-
here.
Okay, no,
Oh,
The
Mars,
first
this is where-
injury,
this-
nobody looked at the injury. Nobody looked at
Mars,
the
this
first
is
one.
where it's getting
like that.
tricky. The reason where it's getting tricky is to your point, career altering. Okay, not career ending. I shouldn't have fell off a cliff like he did, Mars, because ACL injuries, even though they were career altering, they're not going to wreck my game. Where now I can't do nearly as much as I did when I did have it. Guys come back from ACL injuries, and guys are still effective. I can appreciate Derrick Rose getting hurt after that. But guys also come back from torn meniscus. Guys come back from broken hands. Guys come back from these injuries.
Chill.
and
Who
they
are these
very
guys
effective.
though?
Okay,
Who are
chill.
these
I will
guys? This
ask
is
you
what
a-
I'm saying. A guy, just right quick, Pin. These guys aren't a guy
Okay.
who is. Hold on, right quick. Just a second, chill. Let me lay the foundation of the guy that we're talking about. Derrick Rose was 22, right?
Sure.
Derrick Rose was one of the most athletic players in history, right?
Yes, sir.
Derrick Rose was 6'3", right?
Correct.
So we're talking about a 6'3" guy whose game is solely based on speed, running faster than you, being quicker than you, and jumping higher than you.
That's not what his game was based on.
That was his that was his superpower,
Okay.
Pin.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
That was absolutely his superpower.
Yes, it
No,
was.
it wasn't.
His game, a lot of his game was on athleticism. But Ron, if I'm not mistaken,
misunderstanding it.
did I not?
But also too, chill. I'm 6'3".
Okay.
I'm not
a big
6'8".
guy.
I'm not
Okay,
7
not a big
foot.
guy.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm 6'3".
Ron,
Right.
you're describing Westbrook. That's who you're describing. The run jump athlete who just powers through you.
Same
That's
thing. Same thing
Westbrook.
with Russell Westbrook.
Hell no.
What the-
Okay, I'm gonna ask y'all a real question. Real question. Y'all watch Derrick Rose. Have you ever seen a player move like him in your life? Prime D Rose, 2011, 2012. Have you ever seen a player move like that on the basketball court in your life?
Yes.
Who?
Russell Westbrook.
I mean,
Russell
name.
Westbrook and
Russ
Ja
doesn't
Morant.
move like that. Ja Morant would be.
Ja,
on
yeah, I would say Ja, too.
Ja Morant and
Ja
Dwayne
is
Wade.
close,
Yeah.
not quite. Westbrook, way more Northwest athlete. The type of basketball is a game of rhythm. Y'all play basketball, you know there's a certain rhythm to movements and steps. Players who can manipulate rhythm, like Luka and Harden, they are difficult to guard because you never know how they're going to slow down, speed back up. Derrick Rose did something similar in a sense to Luka and Harden. He just did it in a completely different way, which is that you could never really guess where the step was coming and where the finish was coming, and the whole game was just weird and awkward. I'm telling you, man, I've watched great defenders go on podcasts talking about how weird it was to guard this guy. You don't play anything like him. Yeah, part of it is because he can jump high and he's fast. Yes, that's part of it. That makes the whole thing harder to guard. But the reality of it is there's plenty of people who are really fast that you can still stay in front of because you can predict their movements.
Pin, not that
His
fast.
shiftiness, yo, okay, I get it. Speedy Claxton was hella fast. Okay.
Shout out to Speedy Claxton, man.
Yeah,
Long Island.
Craig Claxton was really fast. Okay, TJ Ford really fast. Chris Paul really fast. Emmanuel Quickly really fast. Yes, all
We're
these
talking
players-
about Derrick Rose. Like, come on, dog. Like, hey, chill. Yeah, this quarterback can scramble a little bit. He's not Lamar Jackson though.
De'Aaron Fox
He's
is
not
really
Michael
fast too,
Vick. Come on.
De'Aaron Fox is really fast too, right? All these players are really fast, but none of them move like Derrick Rose. Not one. Allen Iverson was faster than Derrick Rose. Didn't move like Derrick Rose, though.
I just think that the injury stuff, like, for example, Mars, Blake Griffin had microfracture surgery. And this is a guy whose game was predicated on flight and athleticism. Microfracture surgery is something that you give to 80-year-olds, right? To 70-year-olds, because that's the kind of knees that they have. It didn't alter his career. He actually became an all-pro. He became an MVP candidate, and he played a bunch of years. Derrick Rose, because again, in 2011, it's way different than 1991. It's way different than 1981 when you tear up your knee in 2011, because modern medicine is a little bit different. When he tears his meniscus, like Ron Artest tore his meniscus and came back from it. When he broke his hand, like when Kobe Bryant broke his hand and came back from it. All of these injuries, these guys are having these injuries. Different guys are having them. These guys are having these injuries, but they are. Yeah, he broke his hand when he was with the Knicks. I remember he broke his hand when he was with the Knicks. In addition to, I think it was something.
When did Blake Griffin have microfracture surgery?
His rookie season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and that's why he missed his rookie. Okay.
Yes. So his rookie season. So I mean, these guys, they do recover from these injuries. I just think with Derrick Rose, the what if aspect of it, is he as good as I think he could have been if he hadn't had these injuries? I already think Russell Westbrook was better than him anyway before he tore his knee up. For him to be, in Patrick Beverley's eyes, the best point guard in NBA history, I'm cool on that.
I'm just still stuck on, like, we were all there in 2011. Like 2000, I think we're stuck in 2025. Can we rewind to 2011? ACL injury was not like something that if it happened and you were like, all right, we'll see you in 12 months and we'll be all right.
I think it was. I think it was.
It was altering.
Bro, I was hooping then.
Altering.
Yo, I was active.
I was too. I was active too.
2011.
But I'm saying,
so hold on. So here's the part that everybody's missing. ACL for a wing, yes, life altering, career altering, 100%. And ACL for somebody that's supposed to be one of the greatest point guards of all, if he stayed at this peak, I'm talking about the point guard position. What's your duties as a point guard? Why do you need a 40-inch vertical? Now, it's nice to have it. Yes, I'll give you that. I didn't think that D Rose was going to come back with a 40. I'll give you that. Yeah, when he went down to ACL, people don't usually come back with a 40-inch. However, he could still get a 35, and plus, just play point guard. Just be the greatest point guard that everybody said you are. But I think that, like I said, obviously, when you rely on that athleticism, and you didn't really develop the other stuff that it actually takes to be a great point guard, right? It's not just shooting, it's not just jumping, it's not just rhythm, right? You have to know the IQ. You got to know how what does this guy like the ball? What does he like the ball? What's the team? What's the goal, the main goal of the team? And also another point that I think everybody's missing too is in 2011, at his peak, Derrick Rose was at his peak in 2011. They lost to the Heat 4-1. That was the best version of him. And they lost to the Heat 4-1. The Heat wasn't going nowhere in 2011. They were just getting started. So we were saying, oh, he would have had championships. No, he wouldn't have. Because guess what?
Really
he still would have had to
Derrick
run
Rose?
into those Heat every year.
He wasn't going to beat the Heat super team. Yeah.
Right. So he would have been exactly. So he'd have been exactly where he is now. It's like he would never. Like I feel like
we would have just got to see.
Like one of the only reasons why Kyrie was a surefire. Who else is in there? Russ was a surefire, and AI was a surefire because they got over that hump in the playoffs too. Don't forget, Kyrie hit big shots in big moments in the championship games. He solidified Cleveland as a championship city, right? Russ, as bad as everybody say Russ is, Russ can't do this, Russ can't do that. Russ was a man that was the starting point guard at, what is he, he was 23, 24 years old. He was a starting point guard on the team that made it to the finals. AI, literally, by himself, brought a team to the championship, and he
Russ
played
was a starting point guard on the team that went to the finals and lost 4-1 to the team you just said Derrick Rose lost to. 4-1. The same result happened to Russ.
Right, but
the exact same thing.
But you know how it is, bro. You know how it is. They're gonna put that respect on your name when you actually done it.
He lost to the same team. The same result. Except he was the second best player on his team.
Have y'all seen anyone peak after they had an ACL? I'm curious, actually.
No.
Because there's been a lot of players. Ricky Rubio had an ACL tear in 2012, right? I'm just looking at a list here.
Amari Stoudemire.
Amari Stoudemire after an ACL.
OG
bro.
OG Anunoby also had an ACL tear at Indiana, and then he got drafted and he slipped down the draft, and he obviously had a fantastic career. Jabari Parker had an ACL.
Off the tip of my head, he peaked after his ACL because he tore his ACL 2018.
Who did?
Porzingis.
Okay.
And Porzingis has obviously been better since then.
Rondo. Rondo also had an ACL, if I'm not mistaken. Here, Lou Williams.
I was in 2012. No, Rondo wasn't the same.
Rondo was 2013.
Yeah,
and
Rondo
the only person I know is Adrian Peterson. Shout out AP
and OG.
Once again, we're doing the thing where we're acting like the only thing Derrick Rose went through was a torn
Zach
ACL. Zach LaVine peaked after his ACL. Zach LaVine.
Yes, so that's one. Jonathan Isaac. Jonathan Isaac, I think, has had his best season after. Okay, maybe not his best season after
10 years. I don't know.
By the way, yes, he was on a minute restriction.
Another guy whose careers have been
Jamal Murray, 2021. Can we argue the best version of Jamal Murray has come after 2021? That's another one.
Al Jefferson.
So I mean, like basic math says 80% of the time, like I would say estimate 80% of the time the best of your career is behind you. 15% of the time you're probably done. You're out of the league.
If you do it young enough.
And 5% of the time.
And that's what nobody's thinking about too.
It doesn't matter.
He was 22 years old, man. I had surgery at 21 at 22 years old. When you get that surgery before 25, bro, it's different than after 25. That's not the number's not going to tell you that. If you're just looking at a paper, you're not going to see that context. When you get injured, bro.
But if we're just going to keep ignoring all the other injuries he's done.
Actually, my paper.
No, we're not ignoring that. That's just the beginning of it. I think that was the beginning of it. Sure, no doubt about it. That was the beginning of it. And now, as a quote unquote superhero, one of my superpowers has been zapped. Now, does that mess with me mentally? It very well may mess with me mentally. But we have seen guys come back from ACL injuries. And we have seen guys come back from meniscus injuries. Jamal Crawford tore his ACL. He's arguably the best rotation player in NBA history. He's in that conversation.
Baron Davis did it twice. He tore his ACL at UCLA. Then he tore it again. So the one was before, obviously, his peak because he had a great NBA career after it. But the second one, which was like in his 30s, ended his career. So once again, like a lot of the players that I mentioned, like Zach LaVine, et cetera, where you're like, oh, they peaked after. They were 21. OG Anunoby was 18 or 19 years old when he got his. So, yeah, it does matter when it happens. My point here is when Derrick Rose tore his ACL, I don't remember a single person saying, oh, it's over. I don't remember that ever. I remember people saying he's going to be back in a year and the Heat are going to have a hell of a time dealing with this guy. Hopefully he can figure out how to shoot when he's off. That was the word
we're looking at. Altering. It's not career. It went from being a career-ending injury to being a career-altering injury. Sure, he's not going to be the MVP level player that he was like that, right? Where I'm averaging 25, 27 a game. But I think that we could have gotten more. I do think that we could have gotten more from him.
Maybe if he didn't keep getting hurt after that, maybe you would have.
But I think he was great precisely why he got hurt. Like, I think those two things are connected. I mentioned this before on the show at some point, that I think the way he moves, and the reason I asked y'all, have you ever seen a player move like him? Players who move like him get injured.
Yeah.
He's a crash test dummy.
What are we looking at from Kyrie Irving? So what's the expectation on Kyrie Irving when he comes back from this ACL injury at this age? Am I expecting 27 a game, 50, 40, 90 from Kyrie Irving? No, I am not. But you know what I'm not expecting, Mars? I'm not expecting him to be 12 a game or 13 a game and consistently breaking down. I don't expect that. Even though when he played, after he played with James, he was getting injured. And he's had some injuries throughout the course of his career. They haven't been as significant as an ACL. They haven't been as significant as an Achilles injury. No, but they've been significant injuries. No doubt about that. So interestingly enough, Kyrie Irving at 32 years old tears his ACL. What does he come back as when he's in Dallas? What does he look like?
Good, I hope.
Now?
I don't know.
Because I expect him to get him back like around the All-Star break, after the All-Star break, going into the last stretch of the season. That's when I expect him to get him back.
He's still gonna be Kyrie.
Yeah, that's the hope.
We're talking about
I can't guarantee anything, but I hope for sure. But if Kyrie ends up coming back and he's washed, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh my god, who could have saw this coming? But if Kyrie comes back and he's still Kyrie, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh my god, who could have saw this coming? I think either way, like you can see both outcomes.
Washed?
If Kyrie comes back and he's washed,
if Kyrie,
because he tore his ACL.
Define washed. He
there'll be
can't
plenty
start
of
in the
people
NBA
who'll be
anymore.
surprised,
Is that
Mark.
washed? Is that
He's
your
clearly
definition?
he's just very clearly way past his prime. He's just not the same guy.
For
He is
example,
past his prime.
let's say he
No, but
comes
he's
back,
like
Mars.
Klay Thompson, like that.
That's
Like,
what I was
he's
about
not
to
the
ask
same
you.
guy.
Like, let's say he comes back and he looks like what Klay looked like when you was like, yo, this dude is
Yeah,
old.
if that happens, I don't think anyone's gonna be like, oh my god, who could have saw this coming?
Okay.
But if he comes back and he's still 26 points per game, Kyrie, everyone's gonna be like, A, thank God, like, yay. But B, like, oh yeah, it's Kyrie, he's back. Like
The last time
yeah.
we watched Kyrie play, was he a top 25 player?
I don't know, I don't have a
Top
list.
30-ish? Okay,
Probably.
let's put him in
Yeah.
that range. So washed would be he's not a top 75 player anymore.
I can't give you numbers. I don't know. But
Before
like,
he tore his knee up,
if you watch
Irving
Kyrie, you
was-
will know when Kyrie's washed. I don't know how to explain it, but like if you watch Kyrie and he comes back and it's like, oh, Kyrie's washed. Like
Well,
you see it with your eyes.
You're not gonna
like,
see Kyrie.
maybe
wash,
he's the
bro.
73rd best player in the league. I don't know, but like he's washed if he's washed.
Kyrie is not going to be
I don't
watched
know.
because he's the type of dude he figures it out. Like he's adjusted his game so many times to so many different systems, time and time again. That's why I said it's hard to put D Rose in that category because, like OG said, you zap the superpower. Everybody got superpowers, right? Natural abilities that you was born with that nobody else is born with. You zap one, who can pivot and just work on another one and be great at that other thing. Kyrie is one of those dudes, man. Like you could take so many things away from Kyrie, man. He's still going to be Kyrie. He can find a way to get the job done.
I do want to
But
say about
I think Kyrie's better though. So.
about Kyrie's
Derrick
injury,
Rose?
Chill, to answer your question. To answer your question, Chill, about what I feel about Kyrie, I do want to say this. I'm more confident in Kyrie coming back and being himself than I was with Derrick Rose. And part of that could be the history. I've seen Kyrie for the last 10 years. Part of it could be the game, or just both of their games and what it's predicated on. And a lot of it is due to it just being 2025. The technology's just better. The treatments are just better. But I'm more confident that Kyrie comes back cooking than I was with Derrick Rose at that moment in time.
He's a
Well,
really good
Ron,
shooter.
with that being said, though, you can look at the difference in their play style too. I mean, I think it comes down to that. I understand that Kyrie's older than Derrick when he hurt his knee, but Kyrie, I mean, mind you, Kyrie is quick. Kyrie's, he's fast, he's athletic, all of that. He does to a certain extent have to rely on that as well. But he can also rely on a little bit more of just the shiftiness. You know what I'm saying? The way he manipulates the defender in front of him. And I just think Kyrie is a better basketball player. You know what I'm saying? Not a superior athlete, but a better basketball player. I think Kyrie can rely on some other things than Derrick Rose could have. So yeah, I think he'll come back. Maybe not be the same Kyrie, but I think he'll still be able to make an impact on basketball.
What
I really
basketball
think he gets
player
slept
that
on
we've
in
seen in
conversations
the
of all-time shooters, Show. I really do. I think
Who,
we
Kyrie
talked
Irving?
about. Yeah, I think he's one of the greatest shooters of all time, and I think that alone
Oh,
is a
that's a
huge
question.
advantage here. when you're comparing him to the other players we're talking about, like he is way closer to Clay than he is to someone like Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook or Allen Iverson.
I think he's a better shooter.
Yeah, he is, but he's not in that.
I won't argue that. No, I won't
level
argue
of
that.
shooting,
But
man.
the thing that I was asking was with not just with Kyrie Irving, Derrick Rose. Like, what player do you guys know that peaked at 22 in the NBA? Like, when we get to 22, he did not peak at 22. No.
Yes, he did.
Okay,
2001, how old was he?
I don't
22,
know,
23? He peaked around 23, maybe 23, 24 max.
Vince Carter?
Yeah, Vince Carter peaked in 2001. That was his best season.
Wait, hold on. Break that down for me.
That sounds about right. Vince Carter
It
in
is
2001
right.
he was 24. So.
My bad. So he was 24. My bad. But
Right.
like, yo, we have this idea that guys just keep getting better from 24, 25, 26, 27. I was
No,
not everyone.
No.
Not everyone.
No.
It's not one size fits all. It's
Right,
not
you
one
already
size
know
fits
my
all.
Yeah, people peak at different ages. Like it's not people like the same thing with injuries. Some people recover from injuries differently. Like these are all human beings. Everyone's different. On average, yeah, people peak around 27, 28. Like on average, sure.
Right.
But there are going to be guys who are going to peak in their early 20s, and there's going to be guys like Steve Nash who peak in their 30s. Like everyone is different. So on average, yeah, 27. But Derrick Rose, for reasons probably outside of his control, peaked at 22, 23. Tracy McGrady peaked at 22, 23. Like some people peak at different ages. Like
if he doesn't get hurt, but to see that's the issue that I'm having, Mars, because of the injury, I think that's why we're saying that that's the best version of him. Was there maybe more after that?
Probably was.
I can tell you a player that
It
definitively
probably
peaked.
was.
But
That's what I'm
that's
thinking,
another
Ron.
part of the equation that people don't like. People feel they were robbed of that because now was there something more as opposed to we could have just seen if there was something more. Maybe there wasn't. Maybe if Derrick Rose stays healthy, we just come back looking back on his career in 2025. It's like, oh, okay, he just peaked in 2011. Okay, cool. Still an amazing player, really good peak.
Yeah.
But now we're looking at it in 2025. Like, could he have got better? Could he have been the best point guard of all time? I don't think he would have been. I disagree with Patrick Beverley. But that's why you're left with this not doubt. You're left with the question marks. It's like Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy peaked at an insanely high level in 07, 08, etc. And now because his career ended abruptly in 2011 or whenever he was kind of done, you get left. Could he have been better? Could he have got to a higher level? When like maybe that was just the best Brandon Roy was going to be. He was just going to sustain it for a while. Maybe like you don't know, but that's what happens when guys' careers get cut short by injury. You get left with the could they have been better as opposed to how good were they. But the Derrick Rose I saw, 2011 Derrick Rose, I still think he's the worst player of that group. But maybe if he would have got to another level in 2015, if he never gets hurt, maybe he is the best player in that group. I don't know. But based off what I saw, because of things outside of Derrick Rose's control, the injuries, I think he's the worst player there. So I would get rid of Derrick Rose.
I think the Derrick Rose situation is a little bit different than the Brandon Roy situation off the strength that Brandon Roy was a little bit older. Like Derrick Rose, he wins the league MVP in 20. He wins the league MVP at age 22. He's only in year 3. Right. So being only in year 3, I think that there's so much more there that we could have seen. Like he could have understood the game a little bit better. Not necessarily get more athletic, but at 22 years old, I've seen players who got stronger, right? Who got bigger, and the game slowed down for them. So they became better players. Brandon Roy, he started breaking down. He was like 26, 27 when he started to break down, right? So I think it was a little bit different in the aspect of him. Plus, he had been in the league for 5 or 6 years at that point. When we saw him. So we did get to see the all-star level Brandon Roy. Derrick Rose, we got a glimpse of the all-star Derrick Rose. We got a glimpse of the all-pro Derrick Rose. That was the only year he made the all-pro team, which was in 2011. That was it. He didn't do it again after that. That was the last time he did it. So, but I do feel like with him tearing up his knee, and I do understand, Moss, to your point about the injuries, I do feel like at that time, and I remember this, we talked a lot about modern medicine and things not being the death sentence like they used to be. And the word altering is it more than it is career ending. And yes, it altered Derrick Rose's career, but I didn't expect it to alter his career as much as it did. I didn't.
Right. Can I just point out something? I've seen in the chat they're talking about it, and I know I'm not the only one who brought it up, but I just want to kind of clarify some things and or what my opinion of it is. And I know some of y'all can speak to this. As far as basketball goes, when I
Sure.
said that about athleticism with Derrick Rose and Kyrie Irving and shiftiness. I understand that being shifty and you still got to be athletic to do what Kyrie Irving does. But I think we can all agree that if you lose a little bit of athleticism and lose a little bit of speed, lose a little bit of burst, you can't necessarily just blow by guys on the perimeter, which I think Derrick Rose used to do a lot. Whereas opposed to if I might have lost a little athleticism, but I'm still a shifty player, I can utilize, jab steps, head fakes, it's a double jab, things like that you can still do when you might have lost some athleticism that I think Kyrie Irving will still be able to utilize. You know what I'm saying? Like being able to stop on the dime, catch. You can. He plays basketball like he's playing 3 dribbles. You know what I'm saying? How he utilizes his body and lets the ball hang here for a second and stop and go and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you have to be athletic. But I think when you lose a little bit of athleticism, you can still use your shiftiness and play with the ball a little bit. Head fakes, looking here, crossing right, going left. You know what I'm saying? Things like that you can still do when you lose a little bit of athleticism. But the burst and blow by, you'll never be able to get that back. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was talking about. And I just hopefully I could clarify that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie has something that Derrick Rose never had. And this is not a knock to Derrick Rose at all. He just got something a lot of guys don't have. But specifically, we're talking about Derrick Rose. But I'll even throw Westbrook and Allen Iverson in here in this. Kyrie got something that none of these guys had. And that's just it's a feel for scoring that is just different. Like on all 3 levels. At all 3 levels. Like Kyrie almost looked like he going 50% sometimes. Because he's able to slow himself down and feel his way to different spots. And then when he gets to that spot, how I said, he'll throw a pump fake. He'll throw a shoulder fake. And it's just, Kyrie's game is just different. It's like, I can't even describe it. Like when you watch it, like how Marsh said, when you watch it, you see it. Like it's just, it's poetry in motion.
Yeah, I think the game is just really slow for him. It's slower for him than it is for everybody else. He's moving at a completely different pace. People really get distracted by the shooting, the handles, the skill work, and all that stuff. You just don't understand how this dude is dissecting you. And when you look at the great point guards like Kyrie, Steph, they both are seeing things at a different pace than everybody else. Quickly, 2 point guards who peaked before the age of 24. One, Steve Francis. Personally, I think Stevie Franchise peaked in 2001 as well with Vince, and also Ben Simmons. Can you make a really solid case that Ben Simmons' first and second year were like the best years of his career, and he just got more notoriety, MVP votes, etc. later on because they were winning more? Like, I don't think we ever saw anything better from Ben Simmons than we saw in his first 2 years. So, yeah, it's not as rare as you think.
All right. Right quick though, I don't think we got kind of caught up in the whole D Rose thing. I want to ask everybody before I get into these super chats. Once again, who's everybody that you got, or who's the point guard that you're not taking out of Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving, Derrick Rose, and Allen Iverson? Big Ox, I'm gonna start with you.
So who has to
go? Or if you want to list them all 1 through 4, but more specifically, which one's going?
I don't know if I can rank them 1 through 4, but if one had to go, it would have to be D Rose.
All right, Ox going D Rose. Penn, who you got? Or which one's gone for you?
I want to say Russell Westbrook so bad, but I can't. It's obviously D Rose. It's obviously D Rose. I don't want it to be D Rose. I really don't want it to be D Rose, but it got to be D Rose.
Chip, which one's gone for you?
Yeah, same here, man. Gotta be D Rose. Self-explanatory.
This is at their peak, is what I'm understanding. Like this is when they were at their best. Irv is out.
Chill. I'm probably gonna go Derrick Rose, but it's close. Like Derrick Rose and Kyrie's a real discussion.
I'm not gonna argue that point. Yeah, I think Kyrie Irving is a better player, but I'm taking Derrick Rose for what Derrick Rose did when he was at his best.
Chill. I don't know if Kyrie's better than MVP Derrick Rose. I don't know. I really
Kyrie's
don't.
the best player on this list, Ron.
Yeah, I think Kyrie's closer to being the best player than he is to being the worst player.
My thing is, in every scenario that Kyrie played in, if I drop peak Derrick Rose in that scenario, what does he look like? What does he do? I know with LeBron, I know what that is. On the Celtics,
Yeah, Derrick Rose played with LeBron in 2018.
Yes,
on
he
the
did.
Celtics,
And got
when
traded.
Derrick Rose had a lesser team. Well, I wouldn't say lesser team. Yeah, low key. He had the Bulls team, so we've seen what he did with that Bulls team. I imagine he's gonna come with the Celtics and get just as busy. With the Nets, with KD and Harden, I know they were injury riddled and all of that, but I know D Rose is gonna get busy in that scenario. And then right now, if I give Derrick Rose Anthony Davis, and I know we haven't seen Kyrie in that scenario yet, but with Anthony Davis, Clay, Cooper Flag, and everybody else that they got, Derrick Rose that might be the best team Derrick Rose ever plays with. So I'm just saying, I know in all these scenarios, Derrick Rose gets busy.
Who's the best co-star in NBA history that if you could just draft a dream scenario for Derrick Rose plus this guy to build a championship team, who is that other player? Would you put like, is it a center? Is it another guard? Is it a wing? Like, who is that? Because it's not LeBron. That I'll tell you 100%. That synergy is oil and water. I don't want that on my team. Kyrie is a perfect blend with LeBron. But who is that player next to Derrick Rose that you would
Derrick
put?
Rose wasn't a.
I
He
give him like a
wasn't
KG type player.
That's what I was thinking. Because he's
What
not
about
an elite
KD?
distributor.
KD just fits with everyone.
Yeah. Great
But I
response
chose
to everyone.
KG because of the defense and stuff, and the pick and roll synergy, the pick and pop synergy more so.
So like basically
Derrick Rose
souped up
like
Joakim
those
Noah.
Yeah, love me some Joakim Noah too. By the way, Joakim
And if
Noah's
he could
amazing.
shoot threes, because Joakim Noah knocking down the long ball.
Exactly. So you got
How would Derrick Rose
KG
look
wasn't
next to
shooting the three-point.
how would peak Derrick Rose look next to current Nikola Jokic?
I think everybody looks good with peak Nikola Jokic.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I
Really
think he
interesting.
could
'Cause
really
them
like,
Jokic screens gonna go crazy.
yeah.
But
I
the
think
ball
they'd
will
win
run through
championship.
Jokic. Like when we saw peak Derrick Rose, the ball ran through D Rose. That's why it's hard to think because we never really his peak wasn't long enough for us to like play with those scenarios, right? We know what Kyrie looks like next to so many different guys because he actually did it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to D Rose, we only saw him with his number 2 was a young Jimmy Butler that wasn't even nobody needed the ball. So it was good for D Rose to come in. He shot 20 shots a game. Like we don't know what he looks like at 15, 10
Shout out
shots a game
Luol
at his
Deng.
peak.
Shout
Yeah,
out
but I
Luol
think
Deng.
Derrick Rose
Shout out
was
Carlos
like-
Boozer
like-
too.
Shout
They
out to Luol.
did have their fair share of dribble handles and stuff. Derrick Rose would get off the ball. Now it wasn't optimal for that Bulls team because their offense was bad outside of Derrick Rose. But he got off the ball. So just imagine replacing those dribble handoffs with Joakim with Jokic. It's probably better.
Yeah, but
Like,
I think everybody looks good with Jokic. I think you need to really know how to shoot though. Because like I said, the ball's gonna be in Jokic's hands a lot, bro. So it's like you got to be able to move off that ball, spot up in that corner. Like that's what
Derrick
you
Rose
turned
was a
into
good
with-
cutter,
with-
though.
With Jokic,
Oh,
he's a good cutter, but
off
he's
the
a
ball, he
he's
was a
a
good
ball
cutter.
dominant PG.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it'll make it work. I think they make it work.
I
though.
mean, he didn't make it work anywhere else as not the you know what I'm saying as not the guy.
He didn't have many
In
off-
today's
opportunities.
game or just overall, I like Derrick Rose with Scottie Pippen. I like Derrick Rose with Anthony Davis. I like Derrick Rose with Dwight Howard. I love him with Dwight Howard. I think that pick and dive. I think that pick and dive would work. Dwight Howard cleaning glass and how fast Derrick Rose is in transition, and Dwight Howard running in transition. I think they would be really good. I don't love, to your point, Marth, I don't love him as much with Gasol as I do with KG, but I love him with Amari Stoudemire, though. Yes, I love him with Amari Stoudemire. I think he'd be really good with him.
Prime Arvydas Sabonis. There you go. There's the
Yeah, of
perfect,
course,
the
of course.
perfect fit. Perfect.
Arvydas Sabonis, 1988 Arvydas Sabonis, he would be what Joker is with Jamal Murray. That's what it would look like.
He protects the rim, Joe.
Oh,
Just watch
I-
those.
So he
I-
bet.
I-
Yeah,
I-
he
I-
bet in Jokic. Yeah, you just
I
gotta
can't
keep
leave
him
that part out. Yeah, he will block shots.
And he's
but
7'3". Let's not leave
stretching
that
the
part out either.
defense, He is every bit of that too, by the way. Like ain't nothing 6'9" or 6'10" about him. He cleared. He was noticeably taller than David Robinson. Noticeably.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. Yeah, the player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.